Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Upload Friday, woyo. Anyway, thank you for tuning in again. Love to everyone that's clicked on this video, much appreciated. Today's topic is about mastering the art of imperfection. It's kind of like a hard topic that I had to sort of get my head around, because I don't think a lot of us really sit down, really reflect about imperfections and embracing messing up and making mistakes. I don't think it's an openly talked about discussion where we actually speak about, okay, acknowledging we make mistakes and it's okay to make mistakes. We as humans, we feel very pressured to always be doing something right and doing something in the perfect way, or having a perfect way of implementing something, and we never really sit down and really acknowledge not always getting there first time. We just see, okay, I need to do this, and once I do it, it's going to be good. There's never an in-between of, okay, let me embrace all the mess ups and let me just embrace all the wrongdoings and the mistakes. This topic today is just about mastering and understanding and appreciating our messing up stage, embracing making mistakes in our journey of life, because it is normal. I'm human, you're human, and that's just the way it is. Like, I'm coming to you guys with this topic because I'm on this journey myself as well. So like, I haven't got all the answers. If anything, I'm still on the journey of understanding that, do you know what, just let life just do its thing. Like, there are bound to be mistakes, but within those mistakes you learn lessons, you embrace them, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it discredits the goals that you have, doesn't discredit whatever you're trying to work towards. If anything, it's a more rebuilding and sculpting experience when we make imperfections and when we make mistakes. First thing I want to address, we need to remember life is very, very, very unpredictable. You can't actually predict the way your day is going to pan out. Like, you might have a plan that you're going to go shopping, have a bit of retail therapy by 3:50, but life being life and life being unpredictable, that plan might not materialize. It doesn't deviate from the fact that you still want to implement something. The goal is still to go shopping, but life will dictate you ain't gonna get to the shopping mall or shopping centre for 3:50. That's just the way life is. Life is actually the one that dictates the way our day is. We don't dictate our life. So that's another part of being human, like being imperfect and not aspiring to be perfect is human. Being imperfect is what actually makes us and actually confirms that we are human. And I feel like it's just about embracing the moment, embracing every single stage of our life, even if things don't pan out the way we want it to be, and just see them as mini lessons as well. I really, 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 really wish the word perfect didn't exist. I really wish we could actually eradicate the actual term perfect. Yeah, I just really wish this word was eradicated. How can you even define perfection? Perfection surely doesn't have a look, isn't embodied by a person, isn't portrayed by a lifestyle. I feel like it's that comparison that we have of seeing or having an idealistic image of, or what we perceive to be an idealistic image of perfection, is what makes us to think, okay, my perfect doesn't look like this visually, so I visually need to make my perfect look like this because it's glamorized. And I feel like social media does that very well. Compare our life to another person's life that we're clicking on social media. They're very glamorized, and therefore we glamorize their lifestyle, we glamorize the things that they have as perfection, because the likes and all of this and all of that. But really, not everything that glitters is gold, meaning not everything that we see on social media that's glamorized is actually perfect. It's just an ideology, or it's just an idea that we perceive. What makes us human is our imperfection. What makes us human is the fact that we are bound to make mistakes. We are bound to F up sometimes, but it doesn't deviate from the fact that you can't work towards the aspirations that you want. It doesn't deviate from the fact that you can't work towards the goals that you have. You can still implement those goals, you can still execute them, but just be aware that mistakes will happen. Like, a lot of us use the idea of perfection as a way of avoiding to be, we uphold ourselves to the idea of perfection because we don't want to be judged too harshly. Say for instance, I've got a friend, and this friend, she's always getting A star, And because we fear of getting judged, we now place such a high standard against ourselves. We feel like because my friend is getting an A star, I also need to get an A star. Her friend get an A star and she can't get an A star. So you're now placing yourself against an idea of the standard of getting an A star, being perfect. If I don't hit an A star, then that means I'm dumb. No, it doesn't. It just means that practice makes perfect. Keep putting in the work, keep putting in practice, and you'll get there. And even if you don't get there, the effort that you put in still holds a merit of some degree. Do you get what I mean? That's just one example. Very, very easy for us to compare ourselves and hold ourselves in comparison to something else, because there's always a representation somewhere else. Just being normal beings, the biggest comparison that you should make is against yourself. Never compare yourself to another person, because you don't know what's going on in that person's life. You don't know what that person done to get there. You looking at another person's life and being like, that's the perfect lifestyle that I want to have. That's what I admire. That's what I aspire to be. You don't know how tough their journey was. You don't know what they had to actually do to get there. Their journey could have been twists and turns. They just had to embrace it. But within them embracing it, they got to the end goal. But the end goal is all you see. You don't actually see the intel. You don't see the inner parts of what they actually had to go through. And that's life for you. We just need to embrace our individuality. Like, embrace the fact that you are human. Individuality is your stamp of approval that you are unique, you can't be replicated, type of thing. Don't let fear hold you back. Fear can be a very crippling thing. Sometimes the fear can stem from, I don't know if this is going to work out. I don't know if the standard that I hold of perfection is really going to pan out with what I'm aspiring to do. So therefore you allow fear to consume you. You eventually don't even allow the plan that you have to materialize. Take a step back and just realize, do you know what? You need to be uncomfortable to sometimes brew change. And in you being uncomfortable, you need to be uncomfortable with making mistakes. In order for you to really go for what you want, to really set out to achieve what you want, you need to stop being so comfortable. The moment that you're put into a situation where you're uncomfortable and you have to now mold yourself into a position where, okay, do you know what? I need to create new bounds for myself. Get used to being uncomfortable. Don't let fear grip you. Life is unknown. Life will make our plans sometimes not materialize, and that's just the way life is. We won't always get to fulfill what we want. But what you can do is go with the can-do attitude every day and give it your all. I want to relate this to myself because I feel like that's the only way that I can really make it relative. But when I went to university, I had to really give myself a mental sum that I'm here to learn. And the learning curve of my 3-year course is a journey. I've never gone into a degree. I kept a mental sum and I said, you know what, I'm just going to let myself be free, let myself go, and just let the experiences and let the journey of uni really be the one to teach me. I'm going to let myself go and I'm going to be free. Let me just leave a space within my 3-year uni experience of being vulnerable to making mistakes. In order for me to learn, I need to make mistakes, because often when we make mistakes, we learn new skills, we learn new things about ourselves that gives us that resilience to strive to do better and go again the next day and strive towards our goal and just get better at our craft. So I've took that mental note. In me making mistakes during uni, I learned more about myself, I learned more just general knowledge, and it helped me become better and better because I was practicing more through me making more mistakes. That is how we should look at life. Like, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes can go either of two ways. It can either teach you lessons and allow you to understand new things about yourself, or you'll make a mistake and try to be ignorant and not learn from the mistake and just do it again. But the positive of making a mistake is when you make the mistake, you are learning more things, you're equipping yourself with more knowledge, and you're advancing your skills that you have, because with each mistake requires a new ability or challenges your mindset. The next thing I wanted to address, and I've been telling myself this for a good over a year, came to the conclusion that, do you know what, life is an ever perfecting thing. With every single day that I'm given an opportunity to live, the ultimate goal is perfecting myself every day, because I can never be perfect, but I can perfect certain things or work towards improving certain things to do with my aspirations, to do with aiming for my goal, to do with reaching my goal, reaching my target, reaching my aspiration, reaching anywhere I want to be in life, I need to understand that with each day that can be perfected. It doesn't mean I'm perfect, but I'm perfecting those things. Christianity and my religion has really taught me that, because each day, even with all the mistakes that I make on a daily basis, I'm still given a new day. The faith that God has in me, even when you fall short, you're human. Like, being in my walk with God, I can keep getting better and keep striving to do good and keep perfecting myself on a daily basis. Imagine just coming into the world and knowing everything, being perfect at everything. What then are you really gonna gain? When you just let yourself go and realize that, do you know what, I'm human and I'm not here to be perfect. I'm here to just learn, and here to make myself better and better myself on a daily basis and learn more. I don't know it all, and I feel like that's better, because when you don't know everything, you're willing to be educated. You're willing to want to take mistakes as lessons, look at life in a fresh perspective. If anything, I feel like the ideology of perfection is like a box. Imagine perfection is a box that you're put in, because you don't ever want to step outside the box of perfection. Dare to step outside the box of perfection and just let yourself go. You'll see a lot more people outside the box of perfection. Our imperfection is what humanizes us. Don't feel like perfection should be your ultimate be all end all. The idea of perfection is a dehumanizing thing. If you fall short of perfection or the idea of perfection, you're still good enough. You're just willing to let life educate you. I say this box is metaphorical because just hold yourself to a standard of perfection. You're never willing to accept the what ifs. You just want it to be, it shall be so. The common language that all of us humans share is our imperfection. I'm still learning not to hold myself to such a vigorous standard, and then let myself just be here, be in the moment, live as best as I can, make mistakes, be educated. That can only happen when I have that mental sum or that mental acknowledgement of imperfection. Small steps in the right direction make us people of beauty and influential difference. This is Misinformation Mutation. Thank you for tuning in. And that's on period. No cap, Yana. No cap for son.